Okay, so now we're going to be talking about our core values of Cosens Martial Arts. So to begin with, core values are extremely important because they are the foundation of everything that we do, everything that we are. Everything flows back to the core values. At the beginning, when we're onboarding new staff, we have various questions in our interview process to try to figure out if they already uphold our core values, right? Every person we hire might not live these core values currently. Many of them do, but we want to try to figure out if they're going to have the potential to live up to these core values. And a lot of organizations have rules for people, right? So you have to get X done by a certain date at this time, or if you don't do this by this time, there's going to be X punishment, basically. So while there always has to be some of that going on in a business, if you notice, if you're in charge of anyone, if you're always having to write people up, or write people up, it's not good for the overall culture. So if we can all agree on some set amount of values that we have, and we can agree that we're going to live by these values, you're going to notice that you have a lot less correcting going on throughout the business. Okay, so that's some of the main reasons. You don't need as many rules if you have values that you live up to. All right, so the first one, we have 4 core values that we live by. The first one is called progression. We define progression to commit to a life of never-ending improvement, never being satisfied with mediocrity, and always striving to become a better person and a professional. So I don't know about you, but if I have a choice to surround myself with people, I would choose to surround myself with people who are always advancing and getting better. Whoever you're around, you're going to become like them. You're going to take on a lot of their same characteristics and their traits. So we want to make sure that we're around good people. So this is why we encourage staff and in management and everyone around to always be getting better. We have a program called Get Paid to Read, and that's basically where we just pay people, whether that's PTO or we pay them cash, to continue to educate themselves. So we're looking for people who are go-getters and people who do want to progress. We don't want anyone on the team that is stagnant. If you notice, when you're around our team, generally everyone is pretty happy. That's because everyone feels a sense of progression and movement towards something. That could be they're improving as an instructor, they can be improving as a martial artist, they could be improving as a salesman, they could feel like their business knowledge is increasing, they could be getting in better shape. I just had a coach that had lost, I think, 45 pounds in the past 3 months just from working with us. So that's something he's super happy about. People must feel that forward momentum all the time in order to stay happy. Progress equals happiness. Okay, so the next thing is sincere humbleness. So the way that we define sincere humbleness, trusting and following the path that leadership has paved and never allowing ego to get in the way of our team mission. Okay? The number one reason that I have seen people, I guess, shift away or go bad, or however you want to say it, not do what the team wants them to do, the number one reason I have seen is because of ego. In order to be coached, you have to be humble, okay? That's really important to remember. If your ego gets so big and inflated that you stop learning, then naturally you stop progressing, and then naturally you're not a very happy person and you become a virus, all right? So we always have to keep our ego in check. I think in a martial arts school, it's more than ever, because even if we're not a competition school, there's always competition going on the mat, whether we're doing live rolling or a little bit of sparring or competing to get our black belt, or maybe we're competing to see who can get the most profit share, whatever. There's competition going on. And when that happens, egos can become inflated. So we have to make sure that we keep ourselves in check and understand there's always somebody bigger, tougher, faster, stronger. There's always somebody smarter, and there's always someone to learn from. The next core value is called competitive greatness. So we define competitive greatness as give your best when your best is needed, be results and outcome based. Okay? So in this business, for our people that are on the front lines, and by that I mean you are in a studio on the day-to-day basis, this is very much a performance role. You're in front of a group of people every day and you have to perform. And let's be honest, we're humans. We have our ups and our downs. We have problems at home. At work, something might be bothering you. But when we step out onto that mat, we have made the decision that that is the most important thing that we could be doing right now. It's more important than your family. It's more important than your kids, anything, anybody. It's more important because if it wasn't, you would be doing something else. You would be with them. But you've made that decision at that time. I need to help these kids on the mat, or I need to provide an income for myself in order to benefit my life and move forward. So by being competitively great, we've made the decision that we're going to give our best every single time. Again, it's a performance business. We sell in front of groups of people. We teach in front of groups of people. When we sell through our introductory lessons, usually there's 3 or 4 people in front of us, including the child. So we always got to be on point, and we always got to be giving our best. And lastly is fear not. So the way that we define fear not is never let fear control your decisions. So there's an old fable / story. There was a guy that lived out in Colorado. He had a big, what would you call it, a pasture where he had a herd of cows and a herd of buffaloes. And he would notice there was a big storm that was coming over the mountains. And every time a storm would come over the mountains, you could see the clouds coming. It was getting really dark. And as the clouds were moving closer and closer and closer, the cows would run away from the storm. So what would happen is they would prolong the suffering. So it was cold in Colorado, raining and sleeting and snowing, and every time the cows would try to run away from the problem, and they get caught up in it, and they would stay in the storm a lot longer than they needed to be. But he noticed that the buffalo would run at the storm, so in turn, they would get through the storm and be out of it a lot quicker than the cows running away. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be the fat cow that runs away from everything, or do you want to be the strong buffalo that runs towards the pain? So for me, it's a simple story, but that really hit me for some reason. I don't know why, but it did. Maybe it does you as well. So there's a guy by the name of Wim Hof. He's people call him the Iceman. He set a bunch of different world records swimming under the ice in Antarctica and holding his breath and all this stuff. You can look him up if you want, but I remember a quote from him. He said, "Run towards the pain, and the pain will not come to you." So whether you're instructing a martial art class or you're managing a group of instructors, everyone is going to be confronted with pain and decisions, hard conversations, things that have to happen that we naturally as human beings are going to want to procrastinate towards. The idea of fear not is telling us when that happens, you run at it and take care of it right now. Do not procrastinate. When you do that enough times, you're going to be a lot more successful than someone who is not doing that, okay? Because just remember, life is competitive, especially in business and especially in martial arts. If you're scared of something, everyone else, all of your competitors, all the other martial arts schools trying to put you out of business, that guy you're rolling with on the mat, everybody has these same fears and frustrations. And most people, nine people out of 10, are running away from their pain. If you run at it, it really separates you from everyone else. Okay? So those are our core values. Again, progression, sincere humbleness, competitive greatness, and fear not. So below, you're going to see the team. We're doing the Cosens Martial Arts Instructor Pledge. We do this at the end of every training session. It's a bit of a positive affirmation, and it reminds us what our core values are, who we are, what we're going to live by, and what we've committed to. So every team, every organization, group of people working together, you have to know who you are and what direction you're going. It's super important. Right now we have a big goal. It's called 11 by 25. If we have 1,100 active students by 2025, we're going to donate $10,000 to a cancer organization. By the time you're watching this video, 2025 may have already passed, but that's one of our goals that we're working towards right now. Again, the team needs to know who they are, and they need to know where they're going. And this is one way that we know where we're going. Okay, and then finally, there's our mission statement. So our mission statement is to make positive impacts as a coaching team in our communities through world-class life skill-based martial art classes. So if we really live up to our core values, the first one is progression. That means if we're going to progress, we're always going to get better. That means as a martial artist, we're getting better. And as a business, we're getting better. And how we get better as a business is we grow. Multiple locations and help as many people as we can with our world-class martial arts instruction and with our world-class martial arts instructors. That's our goal. That's our mission. So scroll down, watch the instructor pledge video, and go ahead and read up and memorize our pledge and our core values.